My name is Seak, Claus Winkler. I'm an artist, painted all around the world in 28 countries. I'm very famous in the graffiti niche for this type of style or painting or lettering. It's called the Seak style. My artist name is Seak, or I am Seak, S-E-A-K. I started becoming known for this style in the late 1990s, combined with this technique. And I inspired a lot of people, many generations of artists and other creatives. And this video is an art performance. So it's also a piece of art. I have to say this because of German laws. You never. I don't know which direction the video goes with what I'm saying, because I'm doing this without a teleprompter. I just wrote a few notes. The paintings here in this video are paper and cardboard, or I think maybe everything is paper, and they are have grown the last 16 years. Though this paper piece here I bought from a roll, the paper in 2019, is just grown in the last 7 years, and all works here are from two sides. That became my signature thing, that I paint my works from two sides. So the first question. What originally inspired you to choose this motif, and how has it evolved over the years? It's not just a motif, it's a style. It's my letter, it's the small a. It's just like a body with a hole. This is a triangular hole. I'm always doing different holes. And then this is the upper bow of the small a, and this is a lower bow. And I also do obviously E's, small E's like this, but it can also look different. I have in every painting I try to put all the letters in. S-E-A-K, here is an S, it's a very long serif. Here's another S, that's another A, small a, here's a small E. So the original question was, what originally inspired you to choose this motif? Well, because I'm from the graffiti scene, that means you have to paint your name in your own style and become famous. And because out of that necessity to become famous, you have to do something. You have to do it in your own style and aesthetic, and obviously also technique. So it challenged me to come up with something original. So I have chosen the things I liked, which kept driving me years before I started, when I started writing comics for myself and just drawing for myself, from the things I like. Weapons, comic figures, aesthetic, technique. And I also used my way of drawing. I was, for example, also drawing like the 30 Years War, city fortification battles where the city gets attacked and stuff like that. So I did that also for escapism. So basically the inspiration is also painting, drawing things so I can mentally connect with what I like. For example, maybe here the surface of a nice scale model tank, or Star Wars, the spaceships, or playing Matchbox as a child in the sandbox, or on the street, sitting on the garden, sitting somewhere with myself, and connecting with the design of the small vehicles and planes and trucks and cars and tanks and everything in between. Or when I was playing computer on my Amiga 500, and then I realized at some point that it's more intense and more productive to paint, or painting the things or the aesthetics I saw in the bootblock intros and in the computer games, than to just watch them or play with them, because I wanted to become one basically with some of the computer game aesthetics, and so if I would have the ability, I would have become some kind of like digital collage artist, and then do all kinds of crazy paintings, or like printed out, I don't know, digital paintings with elements from certain computer games. But that isn't possible, still is not possible, plus it wouldn't be my own stuff. So I came up later then when I did graffiti, was becoming more and more doing my own thing, and then becoming inspired, and also adding everything which is like round and which is like practical to spray paint, or which is taboo. And then they told me like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, la di da. So yeah, then I probably did that. Or you know, like for example, my stuff also looks like antennas, and then yeah. So this is like a superficial way to explain it, which kind of hits it also in a way. And how has it evolved over the years? Yeah, how has it evolved? I mean, it's still evolving. I'm trying to take a look. For example, if I have anything here. For example, here is a sketchbook, and this is like how like letters supposed to be. I did this in a year ago, but I painted like this. Also 10, 20 years ago, or maybe 30 years ago. I still have my sketches from the late 80s, and also my childhood drawings. So this is like basically a sketch, and this is like the full color version. I like both. I can also see myself painting my work just as sketches. So it's still evolving, and it's getting more technical, and I sometimes have to interrupt myself and take a different route in how I'm sketching, because I catch myself, oh, I'm sketching like this since like 20 years, or oh, I didn't for the last 25 years I hardly did any large capital A's, just small A's based on a round shape. And then I'm always painting my S with a large lower bow and with a small upper bow. I maybe should force myself, like here with a little bit, that the upper part is larger. Because I'm doing it for so long, it's muscle memory. I have to force myself to do it. You know, so there's always involvement. Or I force myself to make more present, more stronger, more confident case. Because this is like basically the old way of painting a case. Believe it or not, that was in medieval or in the last centuries. They painted case where they had looked basically like an F or something. Yeah. So I'm trying to force myself to paint my S like this, and it comes like into the picture. Not just always from the side, or that the case kind of like digging in, or here it's the case like a monument. So there's always progression. I mean, there should be, but I also need repetition for my work. That's also necessary. These are recent sketches, obviously. I can also pull up a sketchbook from like the 90s. There's also so the original question was, let's see here, how has it evolved over the years? Yeah, you should maybe ask other people. There's writers or ref writers who follow my work since the late 90s, and they say I'm always painting the same. I mean, I have to, in a way, paint the same to get my style, to keep my style alive, and then maybe steer it in a certain direction and play with it. Though everything here is organic, so it must also be realistic in the way I'm painting it, you know, because for example here I'm painting it with brushes. I'm mixing spray paint, airbrush, brush, till from say 2000 to 2013, 14, 15, I painted also a lot with markers inside my paintings to make details, but I came bored of that. But I'm still doing stuff with airbrush in my paintings, but it's hardly any airbrush, or very few. It's more brush, I guess, these days. And for a few years I was just painting with fingers details also, with textile parts or something like that. Here in the background there's a lot of marker, like for fine liner. And these are all like miniatures or models, because usually I would paint myself. Normal for me would be like if would be me, this size, you know, like a few meters high. This is for me. This is my size. So this is all like. I'm crazy painting this small because it takes too much time to paint that small. I could paint like large walls in this time too, but on the other hand, does it make sense to paint large walls when they exchange population? There, I said it. Okay, what specific childhood memory or cultural reference led you to this rounded form? One thing is when I started working more with spray paint in '93, I already did paint with spray paint in the late '80s. I reckon that I don't have any can control or skills, but the spray can itself has a round form, you know. It goes out of the cap, it comes in round and soft. And then I remembered a movie quote from, I think, Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan, where he was like the drunken master, and he because he was drunk all the time, he made that his style. And I remember from somewhere that you have to make, I don't know, it was Sun Tzu, but back then I didn't have read Sun Tzu, but I was reading a lot of military stuff and military history stuff, and that you have to make you have to turn your disadvantage into your advantage, you know. So I focused on painting round, also because everybody else was trying to paint as sharp, as crisp and graphic as possible. Cultural references and childhood memories, yeah, probably. I mean, like maybe like this plastic look. Okay, it comes also from the spray cans, but it comes also from the toys I was playing with, you know. Star Wars, Matchbox, tanks. A friend of mine he had like lots of military toys I wasn't allowed to play with because they were his older brother, blah blah blah. And he was greedy and stuff. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he thought he was afraid that I would steal something, because my name is Claus, and Claus means also stealing. Then I saw there also a tank or military tanks which his brother have painted really badly, but he tried, and that was on a level where I thought I could achieve it, but also it didn't look good or something. So maybe that, because I vividly remember that view I had, and that I had some kind of hunch in that moment without knowing that is a hunch. Before that, I was already drawing a lot of round circles, exactly here in this house, which is now my studio. It was my grandparents' house in the 70s. And I was sitting here a room higher, and later then also where we moved to. We were moving in another village, a few miles somewhere else. Another, not the same district, it's the same district, but it's a different area. That I was sitting on the floor and I was painting round shapes, you know, like this with my right hand. I'm a right-hander. So, and that's kind of like, and I had like some kind of I don't know, like present moment. I would call it present, you know. When you're present, you can create this breathing and stuff like that. And this is, that was an interesting, self-fulfilling, me being me, experiencing myself and being whole or fulfilled with myself, which is a conscious moment, not this like self-conscious in a negative way, but in a positive way, you know. Like I remember, like I think when you focus on your breathing, you can experience the same, and that's that was, I would connect this like with painting and with painting round, but that would be the subliminal. Maybe because in childhood, when you experience new thing, when you're open, when the mind is open, all the play toys, everything has a round shape, so you can't hurt yourself, and yourself also have kind of a round body. And then later, I kind of like painted round shapes because I wanted to inspire other artists to create creativity. And because of the E connotation in my name, like E, disgust and stuff like that, I reckon that if you are into a creativity, you basically at some point put your head or your dick into your own asshole, and you're on some kind of like gay same-sex frequency. like on a shame frequency, because of this E thing, but also because of creativity, because you discover new things, you break through thought processes, borders, and enter a realization, and that's always naked, and there's anything is there possible, and also anything can go in all directions. So you have to basically, and I thought maybe with my artwork I can help younger artists to bridge that and to keep on keeping on with their art. Also because you know, we when we are artists, we have to think about ourselves, especially after we left our role models and our work becomes more significant or more matured. So that was a way of also being significant myself. Yeah, and also like doing something good and steering, inspiring creativity. Because those round shapes are like, you know, when childs make like forms and stuff, that connects with that very early phase. And then they are creative and they are comfortable and they are with themselves and occupied also with themselves, and they're happy, and it's all good. There's no one. Yeah, and you experience curious life. This could be a reason for cultural references. Also, I'm a child of the 70s and the 80s, so there's lots of plastic toys and Playmobil, Lego, all kinds of play toys. My parents have both an O within their name, which is a round shape. Maybe it's also being fed from the mother, because of those round shapes are similar to what the child can identify in his first months when it gets milk from the mother. It can identify certain round shapes, which then give a feeling of fulfillment and safety and calmness. There's different reasons why I'm painting it like I'm painting it. Okay. I will do many movies or interviews like this, so there will be lots of variations how I can explain this. How does this motive connect to your sense of community or identity today? Well, it's, I don't know, it looks, my sense of community identity, I was waking up again to politics and to social dynamics and what's happening here in the Western world and why certain people are doing this. I was already there when I was a child or in my youth. So maybe it's to help to protect my people and let the others experience the West with all its degeneracy, but it's a protection for my people. I can't specific what I mean with why my people, but yeah. You should drink more coffee. Wait just a second, I have to drink more coffee. Oh. You know, if you interpret, it's like my work, you can interpret my work on a drinking tea level, being living a healthy life, no sugar, drinking tea. Coffee isn't that healthy either, but you know, it's just going into the extremes. Or on a cocaine level, you know, the artist's name Seak, which means like full degeneracy, self-destruction. So I'm hoping that my people are choosing the mature part, the healthy part. Yeah, and the others who came here for taking over, they should do all the degenerate, liberal and opposite of conservative lifestyle. Yeah, because my people are the minority, not just German, but also white people in general. So I hope that helps them and helps them to separate and from all the other people, because we must self-preserve us, and that's what they're trying to do. I continue saying it. I'll end up that the video is just suitable for Telegram out of censorship reasons, you know. So what should I say? It's maybe also white people have in higher impulse control. So this my artwork takes out the brakes in people in terms of like intimate interaction. So if white people are self-disciplined and well-educated and have great parents, or have learned in life something, you can also learn it the hard way if parenting doesn't work, then it will support them. The others can do what they want. It sounds really hard to say it like this, but yeah, whites are 7% minority. It's we have to take measurements. I know the question is also with art, like how do you interpret what I'm painting here, and how it's perceived if you see it hanging on a wall in a frame, and how that and in a certain room, you know, what does it do with you? You know, it's like maybe it suggests that the pig is already slaughtered, or that or I don't know, the nasty stuff has already happened, or anything. I don't know. It's depending on how to interpret my work. I don't want to put any thoughts into your mind. In what moments do you feel that your rounded forms have their most powerful impact? I don't know. I think it's subliminal. It's a subliminal effect my work has, or an indirect effect, which is then even more powerful or mighty. I did like lots of videos, or also fun facts, which are these days probably just, unless someone has screenshotted them, just on my Telegram. I probably re-upload them, where I see how I influence the world in a positive or negative way. And it's also the question, how deep can you impact people and what do they understand? If I would talk about what I, for example, painted here on my house in the last months, it could give. Also, we have art freedom here, artistic freedom laws here in Germany. In the constitution, it's not really a constitution. It's but it's another story. Could give the oppressive, totalitarian, anti-indigenous people government weapons in their hand against me. So they're maybe overcautious or something, or maybe I'm just having at the moment this perspective because it's the most pressing, and probably people who know me from like long ago, they would be like, you can talk about something else, why do you talk about this? Yeah, it's the most pressing thing. If you have an idea, or if you have questions or want to know certain perspectives, please give me a hint. You know, always you can also write in the comments. I'm thankful for your opinions and your perspectives. It could be inspiring. In what moments do you feel your round forms have this most powerful impact? Yeah, it's indirect, definitely indirect. It also comes with my name. I think then my name is also very suggestive and creates and activates patterns in all kinds of people with all kinds of stances or on the political or societal opinion spectrum. And the interesting thing is to observe this. This is something which I really I'm always fascinated by, how my work influences people indirectly. Unfortunately, from a financial or social status point of view, I haven't benefiting from this. So maybe this is why I'm also can talk about this without you thinking I'm an arrogant asshole, or I'm like full of myself, or maybe or without you getting jealous or anything, because you know that I'm not benefiting from it. Yeah, so I don't know. This painting here I'm showing right now is the back side or the front side, however you want to say it. It's just a stage, you know. In a later stage, I will continue painting this painting in another direction. For me, the challenge will be how to make that what is here already there on the painting will stay visible. And because it's always like, what do you overpaint and what do you keep? That's always the great yeah, the great question. It's like decisions. So let's put up another piece. And we have. Is there a particular? I can't read my own technique or color scheme you consistently use to amplify that effect, or with the impact? Well, I like, going back here, yeah, I like 3D, you know, like 3D, like from dark to light, here a little light, and there more light, structure to suggest form, I like all kinds of aesthetics, you know, not just like masculine, powerful, strong, masculine, grandiose aesthetics. I also like all kinds of other aesthetics, especially if you're bored after a while, you know, it can go in all directions. You also need that for a good painting, maybe also. Otherwise it looks kind of like, okay. So it's basically like from dark to light, contrast, 3D effects, masculine, cool, not cool, but aesthetics. But I also then breaking that up, not breaking that up, but like all kind. I mean, it has to be like technical color schemes. I mean, if I could choose, I would say I would prefer to painting more with subtle, muted colors, not just with these bright colors. The spray can companies are dictating us artists. I also like muted, subtle colors, which kind of like in between other colors. Yeah. Technique, I don't know, everything. Spray can, airbrush. I also love oil. Just painting with the airbrush and just painting with acrylics. I don't know, difficult. Yeah, it's also good. No, it's all good. It's everything. I also like drawing, just with a how do you call that? Here was an ink, something like this. But I'm drawing in sketches and drawings, so I rather paint with oil or spray paint or airbrush or acrylics or brush or finger. Depends on the mood. Also combining it, of course. I'm not so much drawing with pencil. A pencil. I mean, do I have any pencil drawings? Yeah, here a little bit. No, that's yeah, interesting. It looks like it's pencil. Okay, no, but pencils. What reactions or interpretations have you received from your audience that surprised you so far? became lots of mails when Corona started, that people recognized that the people who did Corona were inspired by my art, my paintings, as well as my name, and that the whole thing is basically, it looks like I created the concept, the way they did it, as well as the aesthetic and the whole strategic maneuver and why they're doing it with Corona, with COVID. I think that was crazy. Yeah, didn't benefit from it at all. I'm just keeping it like super NPC here. Have you ever received from your audience surprise? No surprise. I don't know. Maybe I forgot it also. What surprised me? I don't know. Like I said, I'm observing, and a lot of times I see something. I reckon I would say I'm connecting that with my art. What I maybe wouldn't tell people, you know, because it's too personal. Or people then come up with this typical NPC like, no, you're blah blah blah. No, this is different reason. Yeah, right. Okay. So I kind of like. I'm starting to become among those like wise people who get the patterns, but already learned that people are so NPC that they don't want to hear it. Surprised received from your audience that you're surprised. No, there are always reasons. No, I'm not going to say that. There's always things which surprise me, because I have my view and I observe things and I think, oh, this must be this and this, and then I see a pattern or something happening which I can deduct to my artwork, and then it surprises me, of course. Like for example, I'm in my studio. I have like this not grill, and I kept like coal on the falling on the floor on the square form, and then a few weeks later, in the direction parallel to the square form, there was burning a square form like 1 or 2 kilometers from here in an industrial area, a huge fire. And the same thing happened before. I painted in my Seak's Future Green. They dedicated Molotov a color to me for many years, Seak's Future Green. And I painted my drainage, my rain drainage in the first floor here on my studio, on this whole length. And then we have like a little, how do you call that? Little river, which goes from the industrial area, which is also here where my grandfather was working in World War II, and they had a post and stuff. Then I saw a newspaper article a few years ago after I painted that green. And then it said that, and also in the internet, said that the whole river was green for 1 day because something allegedly happened at that plant, power, at that company. There are lots of companies. It's not just a power plant, like an industrial area, and there were like lots of and someone must have put something in that river, so the river was green. The water from the river was green for 1 full day. And it was passing, also maybe 100 meters or something, passing by my studio parallel. So, and I have the Seak's Future Green thing, plus I painted my drainage, my rain drainage in that color. So you can't tell me not that this is steered from me in some way, or the universe is listening to that. Especially where I'm filming here is outside. So that coal thing must have steered something. I think that was coal from grilling, you know, because we did like also, yeah. So it's things like this, you know, it's like you can't plan that, or I can keep on keeping on till you think I'm crazy, but there are patterns, you know. That goes also against me, you know. A buddy of mine, he was 16, I was 24. He was printing me out or faxing me always my emails. But then in the 90s, I had a website, an early website. But I didn't have email, So he was faxing me my fan mail and when people wanted to contact me and stuff like that in my guest book. And his name was Christian Lindner, and he became later the finance minister of Germany. And he had like coalition negotiations with Merkel. Yeah, and they were like deep in the night. And back then I also had we were connected on Facebook, on Xing. We also wrote a few times, or we wrote each other. And, yeah, and I've kept on following his path also when he had like became leader of the FDP and then rising in the ranks. It was always loosely connected to him. And the Seak, and he also hooked me up with projects when he was a little bit older. And then so the name Seak Winkler is kind of like something which can hook itself then, because also of my art in all kinds of things. And maybe because also of this like cocaine connotations, which the word Merkel also includes, and basically everybody who has a C. So it's kind of like it's just from a trigger point of view, or from is that the trigger? A signal point of view. So the point is, in this coalition, maybe after the coalition things, Christian has unconsciously programmed the Seak Winkler into Chancellor Merkel and Angela Merkel, and then maybe out of that happened that she opened the borders, because that was happening then afterwards. So yeah, so there you go. So it can be like, there doesn't even have to be a painting involved. It's completely crazy. It's like yeah, it can go in all directions. It's so what do you feel when you first look at this piece? I like the colors. The colors are nice. Though I have respect for orange, because orange is very aggressive. That's the problem with orange. Keeps on delivering. Plus there's also red orange inside. So colors playing a major role. It's crazy how intense and how powerful colors are, and how much they have an impact, especially also them as form, of course. And I also just know a lot about colors, but there's always in every situation something which slips through the mind and programs you, and you don't know how the effect will be. That's the, it doesn't matter how smart you are and telling, why you do just this, because you saw this color and this affected you like this. Because when you were saying this, you watched this, and then before that you were pre-primed on that. Yeah, but even then you oversee things, and I'm then steered by myself by something, stuff like that. So it doesn't matter how good your knowledge is. The color knowledge or power of color and its impact is infinitive. Yeah, I thought in 2013 that the painting is finished, but I'm still keep on painting, also from both sides. These paintings are all too small, by the way. I must make larger paintings, much larger paintings. What emotions does the round shape evoke in you? I don't know. Sexual, wholesome, fulfilled, breathing. Like a round shape is always like, it can also be like eating, because the air you breathe goes through round channels. When you take a shit or piss, it goes to round channels. When you have sex, it involves round channels. Your fingers are kind of round, your eyes are or your pupils are kind of around. Maybe the inner parts in your nose, I don't know, around. So it can go in all directions, and if you are ashamed of yourself, or they kind of like made you self-conscious, so you redirect your energy against you, maybe also because certain colors program you like this, then everything can hurt you, because you interpret the things the wrong way. Otherwise, it maybe gives a good body feeling, but it also can create it takes away the sense of direction, and then you're like free, but you don't know where to go. And then with this round shape, you can easily catch the other people, and then create a fetish or something which makes them unfree. We don't want to go there and go too much into detail. How does your perception shift when you get close to the details? Maybe it gets intimate, because it's like you really look closely and you go on a different level, you know, like this is maybe like some kind of like NPC autopilot. But when I go more into detail, I'm more closer, maybe also subconsciously smaller. I don't know. It has a more personal touch. I like it. I don't know. Maybe I should do that more often. Like painting, filming it so close. My work is so detailed that I should portray it or show it to people from much closer, so they so they, I don't know, start liking it or appreciating it or getting the full impact. It's how is the perception shifting? What I mean, plus I have a bad eyesight too, so it's crazy that I'm painting. I became a painter. Where I started, I did a lot of walls and large. So when you paint large walls outside, I mean, you can see everything because you don't go on so much, and usually too much into details. But my signature thing became details. But maybe I do also other directions in the future. I don't know. Depends. What if you want to what if you connected this motive to a completely different context? Yeah, people are doing this. This is how framing works and nudging, you know. This artist is blah blah blah. This artist is he is he, and then people perceive everything totally different. And then yeah, so like maybe I didn't have enough coffee. Or I have also other things to do, so I'm not really into thinking about different contexts. Or maybe I'm also fatigued a little bit. I don't want to say black pit, I don't know. Each morning is different. So I hope I could no. Next video, yeah, share, like, comment, do things in my favor and my benefit. Thank you for your support.